Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about one of my new surplus acquisitions. This is my new K11. Though it's not really a K11. Well, it is, but it isn't. So this is actually a model 1896 Schmidt-Rubin. And this particular gun is actually a 96-11 or /11, so a 9611. And the reason why it has that specific naming, despite it looking like a regular K11, is because this gun started life in 1899 as an 1896 pattern rifle, black powder, and then was converted in 1911 to the new K11 pattern. And then with those modifications, they did a few things. So the first thing is they changed the magazine. Now it only holds like 7 with it open, 6 closed. They rebarreled the barrel for the new twist rate for the new ammunition. And then they modified the bolt in order to hold the higher pressure of the new smokeless cartridge, which was the GP11, which is real similar to 308. But the old rifle would have blown up with it because it was a black powder rifle. It couldn't handle the pressure. So they went ahead and they did that conversion over to this the new pattern, and then they started producing K11s independently of this rifle afterwards, and then later on the K31. So besides that, there's not a whole lot that's mechanically different from this rifle from the K11 pattern, minus, you know, basically its numbering and stuff like that, and all the serial numbers date back to 1899 for the original manufacturer. Besides that, it's identical. Now, if you don't know about these rifles, first of all, they are magazine fed, which you have to think about that. 1899, they had detachable magazines, and it is a straight pull rifle, which is really interesting. Another thing that's interesting on these is the safety system on it. So the safety, in order to set the safety, just, and now the rifle's on safe, and now it's ready to fire. And then you can manually cock by this ring right here, which is really interesting. Now, I'm not going to go super into the history of this rifle. You know, I just want to go over the basics of this specific rifle and why it is what it is and why it's not necessarily a K11. But I'm going to bring the camera in, and we're going to take a little closer look at some of the closer features of the rifle. Before we do that, let's do a little ADD break here, as Brandon Herrera likes to say. Let's just throw a couple rounds in here and gets a little bit more shooting of this, so you can see how this rifle shoots. Okay, so now we're up close. I can go over the controls for the rifle up in detail, plus some of the interesting markings on this rifle. So, the first thing you notice is this really interesting shaped bolt. Now, if I can take out the magazine. Now, if you have an empty magazine, you cannot rack the bolt freely, so you do have to take it out. And you can see it just simply goes in and out. And it does help if you put a little authority behind that racking. You can just simply reset the trigger, the firing pin like that, so you don't have to have spring pressure on it. So, now what's interesting about this rifle is they have serial numbers everywhere. So it's on the bolt, it's on the receiver, on the barrel, on every piece of the wood. Some of the serial numbers are actually hidden up underneath the wood of the stock where you can't really see them without taking apart the rifle. And then of course, in a couple spots, we have that beautiful Swiss shield and cross on the foregrip, and then on the stock right there as well. Now, it does have a metal butt plate, which is also a serial number. And by the way, this rifle is all numbers matching, 100%, and unbastardized. You can see the serial number on the stock right there. It does have it again underneath the barrel. But I got this rifle in one of my local gun shops, and the reason why I got it out, picked it, because I've been wanting one of these for a good while. It's in excellent shape. None of the wood's cracked or anything like that. Hasn't been sporterized or anything. So this is my first complete 100% original, all numbers matching military bolt gun. So that's something I really was excited about. Now you see on the sight here, we have your regular graduated rear sights. On the front post, we just have a little blade sight. Now I think these also had hoods as well. I'm not 100% sure. And then you have the bayonet leg, and then this is what's called a stacking rod. So basically, this was around so the rifles could be stacked pretty much together in a tripod or barrel to barrel. So that was something interesting about these. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the safety is like that right there. So you essentially turn the bolt, and when it's like this, you can't do anything with the trigger, you can't take out the bolt or anything. And then just like so. Now, to disassemble the rifle to take the bolt out, it's super simple. You pretty much have this little catch right here, and you just, once your bolt is free, you just hold it down and it comes right on out. Now, when I was talking about doing them, they did the modifications later when they converted this rifle. One of the things they did is they changed where the locking lugs were on this bolt. The original black powder rifle had the locking lugs back here, really far back on the receiver. This made it to where it was a weaker action, but it was fine for black powder. When they swapped over to the smokeless powder cartridges, they needed to move the locking lugs forward in order to have more material behind it to make the action stronger for the black powder cartridge, which is kind of, you know, a simple design. As far as I know, I don't think they had to do any modification on the receivers themselves. It was all in the bolt. See, the bolt sits about just like that. So I'm not 100% sure how they did that modification to make the locking lugs forward instead of back behind, but apparently that's all they did. Now, something that was interesting about these rifles is when in Swiss service, when you entered a Swiss service and you finished your term, you had an opportunity to buy your rifle that you had and that you used in your service and take it home. And when that happened, they would stamp the rifle on the receiver with a year and a P. So it'd be P, and in this case, 53. So this rifle left military service from Switzerland in 1953 and went home with somebody. Now, another thing that's interesting about this rifle, besides the fact that it's in fairly great shape and shoots awesomely, is there's no import marks on this rifle at all. So I'm not 100% sure how this rifle made it into the country or when it made it into the country. It's possible it might have came into the country pretty early on before some of the importation laws were in place and it didn't have to be stamped, which in my case is awesome because that means this rifle is as close to being untouched as you can possibly get. The only way you get one that's nicer than this is if it's a Arsenal new or you know, never issued. So that's awesome as far as this rifle goes. Some of the interesting things about this rifle also as well is just the beauty of it. So another one of the things that they did when they did that conversion is they also cut out the stock and added this pistol grip right here. These were just straight like that, but they added this pistol grip, which actually feels quite nice. Now, when they switched to the K31 pattern, they actually shortened the action quite a bit. So it's a much shorter action, and then they also changed out these handles to aluminum. But besides that, you know, these rifles are awesome. Now, I paid a little over $600 for this one. They used to be relatively cheap. You can still find them online in various conditions, ranging anywhere between the high 4s up to the high 7s, depending on which one you want to get. This one here, the conversions, they're kind of a slight niche as far as the collection market goes. You're never going to know when you buy one of these rifles if you buy a K11, if you're going to get a true K11 or if you're going to get one of these conversion rifles. And honestly, there's no difference in between them. They use the same quality barrels and everything else. Just you might get a rifle that is a few decades older than what other K11s are. Like, for instance, in this case, this one here, 1899. So it's, already 10, 15 years older than the K11 pattern rifle. But besides that, these are beautiful rifles, beautifully made, extremely awesome fit quality on all the parts and stuff like that. Even now, we're talking, well over 100 years later, the fit and finish is just beautiful on this rifle. And out of all the surplus rifles, these are known to be the 100% most accurate out of all the surplus rifles. Now, if you do keep your eye out, there is actually a sniper version of the, I don't know if it's a K11, but I do know that there is a sniper version of the K31. Those are really collectible, and those rifles can do some work. All over Europe, and especially in Switzerland, these rifles take everything from deer to caribou every year, and they are awesome. Now, ammunition is kind of hard. You're not going to find it at your gun shop, but you can find it online. Just this full metal jacket. These were about $24 a box. I got these from Target Sports USA. Like I said, about $24 a box, before shipping and tax and all that stuff. And they shot excellent out of this rifle. Hammered the heck out of the target. I actually have to take it for repairs now. But I'm going to have a link down in the description for Target Sports USA. They are one of my affiliate companies. So please go on down there to the link below. Click on it. Go check out the website. Anything that you buy from them helps us out here at the channel. I'll also put a link. Actually, no, I cannot put a link specifically to this ammunition because the whole YouTube thing, they don't like stuff that. But I can put a link specifically to the website itself. So y'all please go check it out. They have all kinds of cool ammunitions and targets and stuff like that. Back to the rifle. If you can find one of these, I would highly recommend getting it now. Now, the reason why is these are only just now starting to become really well known and known to collectors. They've been kind of a hot little secret for collectors for a long time, but now that a lot of the other collectible surplus firearms are drying up, these are kind of getting more on the radar, and they are drying up as well. They are still relatively affordable at the moment, we all know how that goes. So if you can get them now, get it now. I was actually at the gun show today, almost bought a K31, and I thought it would be cool to compare them. But I didn't because the price was just a little too high for the condition it was in. It was nowhere near as gorgeous as this one is. But like I said, look for these now. Get them now. They are gorgeous rifles. They're not that expensive. You're not going to spend as much as some of the other well-known bolt rifles that are in the surplus market. They're definitely cheaper than K98s and some of the nice, bougie, Polish and Finnish Mosin Nagants, and they do shoot much better. Now, that steel butt plate, not exactly feels good on your shoulder. I wouldn't want to shoot this rifle all day, but almost 34 rounds I shot out of it, not so bad. But anyways, guys, that's it for today. Y'all guys, please like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff, and check out our affiliate links. I got some more cool stuff on the way and some more partnerships hopefully going to be working out soon. So please help us out here at the channel and do all the good stuff that I need you to do. Y'all have a good one. I'll see y'all next time.